Picture this. You pull open the freezer, and there at the back is an expensive cut of meat, gray and crusted with white freezer burn, ruined, straight in the bin. That's not the freezer wasting your money, it's the way food disappears into the back of it. Nonna never lost a single scrap. Today we're counting down 25 secret freezer tricks that save you hundreds of dollars a year. And number 1 turns fresh summer herbs into little jewels you drop straight into the pan in the middle of winter. Stay for it. Let's get into it. Number 25. Freeze your bread the day you buy it. People let a loaf sit on the counter, watch it go stale over 3 days, and throw half of it away, then buy another. Nonna froze what she wasn't going to eat that same day, while it was still perfect. Bread freezes beautifully. Slice it first, so you can take out 2 slices at a time, and a few minutes in a warm oven brings it back crusty and fresh, as if it came from the bakery that morning. You stop buying bread you only half eat. A loaf costs a few dollars, and a household that bins half of every one is quietly throwing $100 a year in the bin. Freezing it stops that overnight. That's money saved every single week from one habit. And the next one is the biggest freezer mistake of all. Number 24. Always freeze meat flat. Most people drop a lump of mince or a pile of chops into a bag and freeze it as a solid brick. That brick takes hours to thaw. It's welded into one useless block, and it stacks like a boulder. Nonna pressed the meat flat inside the bag, squeezed it into a thin, even sheet, and froze it lying down. Flat meat thaws in minutes instead of hours. It stacks like files so you can see everything, and nothing gets lost. A frozen brick can take half a day to thaw safely. A flat sheet is ready in 20 minutes, which means you actually cook what's in the freezer instead of ordering in, because dinner is still a solid block at 6 o'clock. It costs you nothing, and it changes how the whole freezer works. If saving money the old Italian way sounds good to you, subscribe. We're bringing back the tricks Nonna never wrote down. And the next one is what actually ruins your food in there. Number 23. Squeeze every bit of air out. Freezer burn, that gray, dry, crusty patch that ruins expensive meat, is not the cold damaging the food. It's air. Air trapped in the bag slowly dries the surface out and wrecks it. Nonna pushed every scrap of air out before sealing. The simplest way: seal the bag almost shut, then lower it into a bowl of water so the pressure squeezes the air out through the last gap, and seal it under the surface. No air, no freezer burn, no ruined meat. There are cheap little bag sealers and vacuum pumps too, but Nonna never needed one. A bowl of water does the same job for free. Do it with every cut and freezer burn simply stops happening, and the expensive meat you used to throw away gets eaten instead. That trick alone saves the cuts people usually end up binning. And the next one rescues the half tin you always waste. Number 22. Freeze tomato paste in little dollops. A recipe wants 1 spoon of tomato paste. You open a whole tin, use a bit, shove the rest in the fridge, and throw it out furry a week later. Nonna wasted none of it. Spoon the leftover paste into little blobs on a lined tray. Freeze them solid, then bag them up. Every time a sauce needs a spoon of paste, you drop in a frozen blob straight from the freezer. You buy 1 tin, and it lasts months instead of days. The same works for a spoonful of leftover pesto or a splash of passata. Freeze the awkward little leftovers you always end up binning, and use them a spoon at a time, and the next one turns your scraps into money. Number 21. Keep a scrap bag for stock. Onion skins, carrot ends, celery tops, the stalks of herbs, a Parmesan rind. Most people sweep it all into the bin. Nonna kept a bag in the freezer and added every one of these scraps to it all week long. When the bag was full, it all went into a pot of water and became a rich, free, homemade stock. the same stock that costs a fortune in a carton. You throw away nothing and you never buy stock again. A carton of decent stock is $2 or $3, and a Nonna made gallons of better stock a year out of exactly the scraps everyone else pays to have taken away. And the next one is the habit that saves the most money of all. Number 20. Label and date everything. This sounds boring, but it is the single biggest money saver in the freezer, and almost nobody does it. Unlabeled food becomes a frozen mystery, gets pushed to the back, forgotten for a year and thrown out. A Nonna wrote what it was and the date on every package with a marker. When you can see at a glance what you have and how old it is, you actually use it instead of losing it. Forgotten food is wasted money, plain and simple. The average household throws away well over $1,000 of food a year, and a huge slice of that is simply lost and forgotten at the back of the freezer. A marker pen is the cheapest tool in the kitchen, and it stops most of it. Subscribe and save along with us as we bring back the old ways. And the next one lets you raid the sales. Number 19. Freeze cheese you bought on offer. Good cheese is expensive, and it goes moldy before you finish it. A Nonna bought hard and semi-hard cheese when it was on sale and froze it. Grate mozzarella or Parmesan first and freeze it loose in a bag, and you can grab a handful straight onto a pizza or a pasta from frozen. The texture changes a little, so it's best for cooking rather than a cheese board, but for everyday meals it's perfect. You buy it cheap, in bulk, and none of it ever goes to waste. Grate a big block when it's on offer, and you've got months of pizza and pasta cheese for the price of one wedge, instead of paying premium for a small bag every single week. And the next one saves the wine you'd have poured away. Number 18. Freeze leftover wine for cooking. There's often a little wine left in the bottle, going sour on the counter, destined for the sink. A Nonna poured it into an ice cube tray and froze it. A splash of wine makes a sauce or a braise so much richer, and now you've always got a couple of cubes ready to drop straight into the pan. Nothing gets poured away, and you never open a fresh bottle just to cook. A single cube is about a tablespoon, the perfect splash for a risotto or a quick pan sauce, and you'll never again tip the end of a good bottle down the sink. Waste turns into flavor. And the next one is Sunday dinner, saved for a rainy day. Number 17. Freeze your shugo in flat portions. When a Nonna made her Sunday gravy, she made a huge pot of it and froze what the family didn't eat in flat, meal-sized bags. Months later, a proper homemade Italian sauce is 10 minutes from the freezer to the table, and it reheats tasting exactly as good as the day it was made, because a good tomato sauce freezes perfectly. One afternoon of cooking becomes a dozen dinners at pennies a portion instead of ordering takeout on a tired night. One takeout for a family is $30 or $40. A portion of your own frozen shugo is cents. Do that math over a year of tired nights, and this one habit pays for itself many times over. And the next one is the trick you clicked for. Number 16. Break a big meat pie into flat, protected portions. This is the one on the thumbnail, and it's where the real money is. Meat is cheapest when you buy it big, the family pack, the joint on markdown, but most people freeze the whole lot in one bag, can't use it all at once, and end up throwing the freezer-burned remains away. A Nonna broke that big buy down the moment she got home. She split it into the portion sizes she'd actually cook, enough for one dinner each, pressed each one flat, pushed all the air out, wrapped it well, labeled and dated it, and filed the portions upright in the freezer like folders, so not one got lost at the back. Now the cheap bulk price is a real saving instead of a false one. Every portion thaws fast, cooks fresh, and never gets forgotten or burned. That single habit is where the hundreds a year actually comes from. And the next one is about buying at the right moment. Number 15. Buy on the markdown and freeze it that day. Supermarkets slash the price on meat and fish that's near its sell-by date, and people walk past it thinking it'll go off. A Nonna grabbed it, because near the sell-by date is not near the end of its life if you freeze it that same day. Get it home, portion it flat, and into the freezer it goes while it's still perfectly good. You pay half price for exactly the same food. Learn your shop's markdown time, usually early morning or late evening, and you'll fill the freezer for a fraction of the cost, week after week. And a Nonna had a rule like this for every scrap of food in the house: what to freeze, what to save, what to stretch. So I gathered them all into Nonna's handbook, the kitchen tricks and the pantry and home secrets together. The link is in the description below. Now, number 14. Protecting your most expensive cuts. Number 14. Double wrap the expensive cuts. For a cheap portion, one good bag is fine. But for an expensive roast or a good steak you're freezing for a while, a Nonna wrapped it twice. A tight layer of wrap or freezer paper hugging the meat, then a bag around that. The double layer keeps every bit of air and moisture away from the surface, so the cut that costs the most is the one that comes out months later in perfect condition, not ruined. 2 minutes of extra wrapping protects the priciest thing in your freezer. For anything you'll keep more than a month or two, that second layer is the difference between eating a $40 roast and scraping freezer burn off it into the bin. And the next one stops your meatballs freezing into a lump. Number 13. Freeze meatballs and dumplings loose first. Roll a batch of meatballs, drop them all in a bag together, freeze them, and you get one giant frozen clump you have to hack apart. A Nonna spread them out in a single layer on a tray first, froze them solid like that, and only then tipped them into a bag. Because each one froze separately, they stay loose, and you can pour out exactly how many you need. It works for gnocchi, for berries, for anything small. A big tray of homemade meatballs costs a fraction of the sad frozen bag from the shop, and yours have no fillers in them. You just have to stop them fusing into one lump first. Make a big batch once, use a few at a time, and the next one is a whole dinner in a bag. Number 12. Freeze soup and minestrone in single servings. A big pot of minestrone is cheap to make and feeds you for days, but by day 3 nobody wants it, and the rest gets thrown out. A Nonna froze it in single portion containers the day she made it. A homemade healthy lunch is then always waiting, ready to heat, for a fraction of what a sad shop-bought soup costs. Cook once and eat well for weeks. Nothing tips down the drain. A pot of minestrone from a few cheap vegetables, and that scrap bag stock might cost $3 or $4 and give you 8 lunches. Shop-bought soup is that much for a single serving. And the next one is how you find any of it again. Number 11. File everything upright, oldest at the front. A freezer packed in random layers is where food goes to be forgotten and wasted. A Nonna, once everything was flat and labeled, stood the packages upright side by side, like books on a shelf, with the oldest at the front. You can read every label at a glance. You grab the oldest first, so nothing ages out, and the freezer holds far more. It turns a chaotic drawer of waste into an organized larder, and an organized freezer runs more efficiently and holds nearly twice as much, so you're never tempted to run out and buy a second one, another quiet cost avoided. And the next one saves the summer harvest. Number 10. Blanch your vegetables before you freeze them. When vegetables are cheap and perfect in season, a Nonna preserved them for the lean months, but never raw. Freezing raw vegetables leaves them mushy and faded because the enzymes keep working, so she blanched them first, a quick minute or two in boiling water, then straight into ice water to stop the cooking, then dried and frozen. That quick blanch locks in the color, the texture, and the goodness. Most vegetables need just a couple of minutes. Green beans and broccoli about 3, peas and spinach barely 1, then straight into ice water to stop them dead. Buy them cheap in season, eat them all winter for a fraction of the out-of-season price. And the next one is a ready meal you actually made. Number 9. Freeze cooked pasta and gnocchi in portions. Cooked too much pasta? As always, don't bin it. Nonna tossed the extra with a little oil so it wouldn't clump, and froze it in portions. A quick dip in boiling water or a minute in the sauce brings it straight back. Homemade gnocchi freeze even better, straight from frozen into boiling water. A fast dinner, already made, waiting for you. It's the leftover that usually goes hard in the fridge and into the bin 2 days later. Frozen instead, it's a free lunch. Nonna's rule was simple. Food cooked once should never be thrown away, only frozen for later. And the next one saves your baking. Number 8. Freeze your dough in portions. Pizza dough, bread dough, pastry. Nonna made a big batch and froze it in meal-sized balls. Fresh homemade pizza on a weeknight is then as easy as pulling a ball of dough out in the morning to thaw. It costs a few cents of flour instead of a delivery, and it's far better. A ball of dough is pennies of flour, water, yeast, and salt. The same pizza delivered is $15 or $20, so freezing the dough is one of the biggest savings in the whole video. Make the mess once, eat fresh for weeks. And the next one is pure waste nothing. Number 7. Never throw a Parmesan rind. Freeze it. We touched on the scrap bag, but the Parmesan rind deserves its own place. Nonna kept every hard rind from the end of a wedge and froze them in their own little bag. Dropped into any soup, sauce, or pot of beans, a frozen rind melts out a deep, savory richness that money can't buy in a stock cube. You're freezing the part everyone else throws away, and it makes your cooking taste like a restaurant's. Good Parmesan is not cheap, and the rind is the part you already paid for and were about to bin. Nonna got a second life out of every wedge, and the next one saves the fruit going soft in the bowl. Number 6. Freeze fruit before it turns. Those bananas going brown, the berries about to spoil, the lemons drying out. Nonna froze them at the last good moment instead of binning them. Frozen overripe bananas are perfect for baking. Frozen berries go straight into cooking. Lemons can be zested and juiced and frozen. Nothing in the fruit bowl ever rots on the counter again. The banana bread, the berry sauce, the lemon zest folded into a cake, all made from fruit that would otherwise have gone soft and straight in the bin. Waste, caught just in time, becomes next week's dessert. And the next one keeps liquid gold on hand. Number 5. Freeze your stock and brodo in cubes and blocks. When Nonna made a big pot of brodo, she never let it go to waste. She froze some in ice cube trays for when a recipe needs just a splash, and some in larger tubs for soups. A homemade stock, richer and cheaper than anything in a carton, is then always ready in exactly the amount you need. One tray of cubes covers every little splash a recipe wants for weeks. The bigger tubs handle a whole pot of soup, from scraps you'd have binned for nothing at all. And the next one is the safety rules that protect it all. Number 4. Cool it, thaw it right, and never refreeze raw. A few simple rules keep frozen food safe and stop waste. Let cooked food cool before it goes in, so it freezes fast and doesn't warm everything around it. Thaw meat in the fridge overnight, not on the counter, where it sits too long in the danger zone. And once raw meat has thawed, don't refreeze it raw. Cook it first, then you can freeze the cooked dish. Nonna's food was cheap, but it was never unsafe. Getting the thaw right also means it tastes good when you use it, so you're not tempted to bin a slightly off-looking package out of doubt. Safe food is food that gets eaten, not thrown away. None of these rules cost a thing. They just keep the money you already spent from ending up in the bin. And the next one gives you exactly the amount you need. Number 3. Score your flat frozen mince. Here's the trick that makes flat freezing even better. Before a Nonna froze a flat bag of mince, she pressed the handle of a spoon across it in a grid, scoring it into squares. Once it's frozen, you can snap off exactly the amount you need, a quarter for one person, half for two, and put the rest straight back, still frozen, still perfect. No thawing the whole block to use a little. Precise, no waste, no refreezing. It's the difference between using a quarter of a pack for one person and having to defrost, and then waste the whole thing. A small habit that adds up to real money over a year. And the next one is Sunday dinner twice. Number 2. Cook once, eat twice, freeze half the Sunday dinner. The oven's already on and the pot's already full, so a Nonna simply made double and froze half of the finished meal in portions. The braciole, the ragu, the stuffed peppers, a full second Sunday dinner, already cooked, waiting in the freezer for a night when there's no time and no energy. That's the night most people order in and spend a fortune. You heat up something better for pennies. Same effort, twice the meals. The exact night a family usually spends $30 ordering in, the tired one, is the night you pull a finished dinner out of the freezer instead, and that's where a huge part of the whole year's saving quietly hides. And now number 1, the one that tastes like summer in the middle of winter. Number 1. Freeze fresh herbs in olive oil cubes. This is the one that feels like magic. Fresh basil, parsley, and sage are at their cheapest and best in summer, and by winter you're paying a fortune for a sad little packet that wilts in 2 days. A Nonna caught summer while it was here. She chopped the fresh herbs, packed them into the little wells of an ice cube tray, poured good olive oil over the top to seal every bit of air away, and froze them into little green jewels. Months later, in the dead of winter, she'd pop one straight from the freezer into a hot pan, where it melts into a puddle of fragrant, herb-flecked oil that smells like a summer garden and tastes like she picked it that morning. No wilting, no waste, no expensive winter herbs, just keep them frozen and use them straight from frozen. It costs almost nothing, and it's the closest thing a freezer holds to bottling a season. It's the perfect note to end on. So there they are, 25 ways a Nonna turned an ordinary freezer into the most powerful money saver in the house. When you lay them all out, the lesson underneath is simple. She never wasted a single thing, and the freezer was how she made the good times feed the lean ones. Buy well, waste nothing, and let one afternoon of cooking quietly feed you for a month. That's not penny pinching, that's the whole art of running a kitchen the way she did. And speaking of things a Nonna kept for a lifetime and never let go to waste, everything about her cast iron pan is in the video on your screen right now. Go watch that one next. Subscribe, and let's keep bringing back the tricks the world was starting to forget.